The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newy Scruggs.
All right, here we go. Short week for the Dallas Cowboys. Get ready to take on the Philadelphia Eagles on Saturday night. I'm Newy Scruggs. Welcome to the Players Lounge, and the players are Barry Church and...
Did we lose Newy?
Oh, I thought that was me.
Get the Rookie of the Year, defensively, Micah Parsons, to be playing in this game. He's got COVID. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. This is a tough one because, we do got, Dan Quinn he's been great out there and he's getting the most out of all his players, D-Law, Gregory, all those. He's been getting the most out of everybody and they've been playing great as a whole unit. But when you take away arguably the best player, not only on defense, maybe even the team this year, you're going to take a dip right there. You're going to take a little dip. So I'm glad it's not an injury or he's like a torn ACL or something like that to where he's out the whole playoffs. Hopefully we're able to get him back. Yeah, knock on wood. Hopefully we're able to get him back before this playoff run. But this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt because anytime you lose your best player or your best option, whether it's defense, offensively, it don't matter, you're going to take a little dip in production out there. Now, hopefully, Gregory, D-Law, Odigizua, those guys along the defensive line can step their game up. I'm not sure. Do we get Keanu Neal back?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I think we got. So yeah. Hopefully he's able to go in there and use or take Parsons' spot at that linebacker. But it's tough. That dude is a playmaker. Like, no matter where you put him on the field, whether he's covering receivers up the seam, running backs out the backfield, or just applying that pressure on quarterbacks, he's a 3-tool player. He can do it all. So, like I said, when you got a guy like that that's not going to be there, your defense is going to take a little dip.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, blessing in disguise.
Blessing in disguise.
We do not have to worry about Micah Parsons missing the first playoff game of his career. We do not have to worry about that. All right, so we're going to put the onus now on Dan Quinn to get guys like Randy Gregory, Tank, Odigizua, Keanu Neal, Leighton Vander Esch. Like, we still have guys to play against the Philadelphia Eagles, who also might not even be playing
12
most of their starters, right? They
missing
some guys, and then some other guys might not play. So this is the week, right? Mm-hmm. This is the week. And like I talked about, I say, man, look, if we're going to go out there and play, you might see guys like Tank maybe not play the whole game. Okay. In my mind, I'm saying, Parsons, Zeke, Dak. There might be some guys who might not see that much playing time, and I won't even have to worry about it, okay? What we know for sure is Parsons is going to miss this game, and he's going to be ready to go the week after that. So It's going to be a big loss, but I think Dan Quinn going up against the Eagles, who are missing a lot of guys, can handle this situation and still come out with a good defensive performance and keep Micah Parsons ready for next week. So big loss, but I think we should be able to handle it.
Okay.
One player that I look at and I think that, this could be good for them, as you guys know, going into a free agency, you're trying to put good tape out there, and that's Leighton Vander Esch.
Yeah.
Leighton Vander Esch this season, it looks nothing like the first round pick who went to the Pro Bowl, and he's a free agent after this season. So some good tape against a team that has shown that they're running the football very well. This could be.
I think we lost. Oh. You back new? We lost the last little piece of that. What'd you say?
Oh yeah, I would say this: Leighton Vander Esch, who we did not mention, actually played a pretty good game against Arizona.
Okay.
Leighton Vander Esch got out there. He made some plays when he had the opportunity to. So yes, 2 games back to back of him showing that he can still get it done at that linebacker position would be great for him going into this year.
It'd be great, and what he needs to do is he needs to get back into that splash play. Like when we saw him his rookie year, I'm like, man, they better sign this dude quick because this dude is unbelievable. But what he was able to do was he was making, whether it's sack force fumbles, scooping up stuff, intercepting, he was making those splash plays, those plays that make you really remember what his impact was on the game. We just haven't seen that from him this year. I mean, he's had a solid season. He's been racking up some tackles here and there, but he just hasn't made those plays that make you stick out. And now with, Parsons, out with COVID for this week, I think he'll be thrust into that role where he'll be that dime linebacker out there. He'll be the guy that doesn't leave the field and gets everybody lined up. So hopefully he can take advantage of it and make some plays for himself.
See, this is why Jalen Smith was out there swiping, okay? Because Jalen Smith was out there swiping to let you know that he had made a play. We have not seen Leighton Vander Esch howl at all this year. He hasn't howled at all. But the unfortunate part about it is he has made some plays this season, and we would have been able to see that and put a little bit more notoriety on it had he done his celebration after the play. So Leighton, let me tell you something, man. Don't shy away from doing your move, okay?
Get your celebrations
When you make a play, celebrate the right way and let them know it was you out there causing that play, all right? Micah Parsons is out. You coming out here. The Wolf Hunter is here, all right? Let us know that you out there making the plays because I want to see you have success in your career.
Can he still do it?
Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen him be able to do this season in spot play and then how he played against Arizona, I think there is a role for him. There's still a role for Jalen Smith out there in New York. You still have a role for Leighton Vander Esch as well.
Okay.
What about next season?
No. I mean, unless you can hit you with not the vet minimum, but nothing crazy, something super team friendly that will bring him back. I mean, I just think that you can draft a guy in that position, and from what we've seen LVED's past 2 years, you could draft a guy to get that same type of production. Now, if he was balling like his rookie year these past 3 years, then I'd be like, hey, sign the man up. You gotta pick him up. But we just seen that production. We've seen the splash plays take a dip, take a decline. And I don't think he warrants a big time deal, maybe like a 1 year prove it type deal. But I personally, I would draft somebody, especially if Leighton wants a multi-year deal.
Yeah, listen, like you said, a prove it deal, 1 year deal, something small that doesn't really hurt you with a lot of cap space. The only thing I would say is you need a guy like Leighton Vander Esch on your squad, as we've seen when you start playing these running teams. And in our division, Philly is going to be a running team. Washington is most likely going to be a running team. We're not sure what New York is, but they do have Saquon back there, and they all usually resort to trying to run it with either Danny Dimes, who they said they're bringing back with Joe Judge, or Saquon Barkley. So you know that you're going to have at least 5 to 6 games where you're playing against teams that specialize in running the football. So you need a guy who's able to play that linebacker position.
And it goes down to where you prioritize this guy. Like, we got a lot of free agents defensively. I mean, you got some guys in the secondary, you got Keanu Neal, some guys in the linebacking core, and definitely guys along that defensive line. So I think it comes down to whether paying Vander Esch or not is where do you prioritize him? Do you see him being as that main guy that you can't have a defense without him, like a cornerstone piece? Then yeah, you got to pay the man. But if you feel as though he's a guy that he's contributing well to our team, but he's not really the difference maker, then I have to say you got to let him go.
We know Randy Gregory's first, okay?
Yeah, he got to get paid.
You got Curse probably right under that. Mm-hmm. You got to figure out. I'm not sure about the other free agents on the defensive line, but he's not top 2. And that's just on the defense. So he's not top 2 on the defense. So I'm sure Will McClay and those guys, they'll find out what they want to do with him after the season. And like I said, hopefully there's somewhere where there's a fit for him because he can still ball.
Yeah.
Vander Esch, if you don't bring him back on the second contract, having been a first-round draft pick, and he was a preferred player, Rod Marinelli. Marinelli had talked about shades of Urlacher that he saw in Vander Esch. He did make a Pro Bowl, but right now, as we're talking about, toward the end, he's a good player, not a cornerstone player necessarily, the way you're talking about for a second-year contract, and clearly the best linebacker on this football team is Micah Parsons. So how do you view his time with the Cowboys?
Listen, I'm going to say that it's kind of in the middle of the road. I'm not going to give him an A, because Nui like to give out A's. So I'll probably give him like a B minus. He had a really, really good season when him and Jalen had first gotten together, and we were like, hey, this is the linebacker tandem that is going to carry the Cowboys throughout the next few years on their defense. And then it kind of fell off. So he did make the Pro Bowl, so you have to give him some props for that. And he's also been able to carve out a niche position here when everything was changing on defense, right? Yeah. We go out and we draft almost all defensive players, and Leighton Vander Esch still finds a way to still be that guy that's here in the locker room and actually getting some playing time and playing well. So I'm gonna give him a B minus because of that, and mostly because he had those injuries, and you're not really sure. So once you start missing time, it kind of knocks you a little bit. But he still deserves to be up there in the B's for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go either B- or C+.
Well, you be giving out some C's.
All right,
C's get degrees.
C's get degrees, man. Because he started off so. It reminds me of Bruce Carter when we was here, but kind of the opposite. You know how Bruce Carter started off slow. He had the injuries, was fighting for playing time, and then by his last year, he had like 5 or 6 picks, and he was balling. And he ended up getting blocking punts. He ended up getting a big deal out in Tampa Bay, I think. But it was kind of like that with Bruce Carter, where in LVE, where except LVE started off fast as all heck, Pro Bowl, Wolf Hunter, woo, getting all over the place. What in the heck? Oh, anyway, but to me, there's similar tracks, and look, LVE, he's done a good job here. He's done a good job. He warrants getting paid maybe somewhere else, but overall, I'm giving him a B-.
Okay, all right. Okay, I was saying, don't give that man a C.
I can't give him no C. He went to the Pro Bowl. He did something I could never do. He went to the Pro Bowl, so I got to give the man at least a B.
Rod Marinelli's time here as defensive coordinator, and 3 players that Rod really they went to and he advocated for, Tristan Hill, Leighton Vander Esch, and Taco Charlton. Leighton Vander Esch, he gave the Cowboys something. I think he's a B when you think about his career. Obviously, because of the injuries, I don't think you can give him a multi-year contract. It would have to be something that was very team-friendly if you brought him back. But this is how the NFL goes. But they got something out of him. He was a starting football player. Taco Charlton just never gave you anything as a football player here. And especially when you look at the fact that they passed on T.J. Watt to get Taco. And then you look at Tristan Hill, who's been a spot player instead of Hill, and Juan Thornhill playing as a starter for a world championship Kansas City Chiefs team. So I look at Leighton Vander Esch definitely as a B player because he did make some contributions. He has been starting.
Let me tell you this, though, Nui. Listen, I'm going to be real with you, okay? After you gave that A out yesterday, we gonna put your numbers on your letters on the curve. You grading on the curve, right? That one went from Kool-Aid to A. So, went from assy to classy.
He believes in himself.
Well, I ain't giving out A's, A pluses. You get an exemplary. He giving them everything. He got a sticker. Let me get a sticker, bro. You know what I'm saying? You had a good day today.
Oh man, they was getting after it on Twitter too.
Gentlemen, as I said, this was for at this time, okay? At that time. I still have not given my final grade, okay? Just because we have yet to get to the final exam, okay? And you know how much emphasis you put on that final exam. The final exam for Mike McCarthy is going to be the playoffs, and I put a lot of weight into the final. So this A could very much go down to a B. It could end up as a C because Mike McCarthy was brought in here to be better than Jason Garrett. And right now, has he done anything that's necessarily better than what Jason Garrett did? Not yet. Not yet. So this A could change, all right? Yeah, there's more work to do, gentlemen. There's more work to do. Grade is not in.
He got to drive into the playoffs before he talk about not yet. Okay, not yet.
Make a nice little drive.
So what was his grade? His first year as the Dallas Cowboys head coach from you? Was it C, D?
Well, for me, I gave it a failure.
You gave it an F? Oh, so he probably sitting somewhere like a C, like a C plus right now over his 2 years. If you averaging out this A that you gave him in that failure. Okay, just check it. Okay.
Yeah, the Mike Nolan thing soured me. That soured me. That Mike Nolan thing was just terrible. It's unforgivable.
Yeah, it was ugly.
I mean, you think about how you messed up the career of Vander Esch and Smith. That was a wasted year, putting these guys in places they didn't want to be. You got guys out there who said, look, man, I don't like this defense. Then you had guys like Xavier Woods running around out there talking about, I can't go 100% the whole time. I mean, that was a debacle. And this was McCarthy's guy.
Yeah, you almost got Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown released. We were sitting over here like super down on these dudes. Like, ain't no way they could play. We sitting here looking at Tank like, is he hurt? Is he hurt? Right. Like, everything that Mike Nolan did was incorrect. Mm-hmm. And like I said, Mike McCarthy, that's his guy. We know for sure We know for sure that Mike McCarthy brought in Mike Nolan. Like, we don't know about the Dan Quinn and how that happened with Jerry and all them. We know for sure.
That he brought in. He brought in Mike
Nolan.
Y'all don't think if Nolan had the off season like Quinn had, y'all don't think it would have been a little bit better?
Nope.
Not even a training camp in
Not on duty. Not on duty.
Y'all just killing old Nolan out here.
What Brandon Carr tell you?
Bones Fossil wasn't good last year. Okay,
Yeah.
the special teams last year was not good. Calling them fake punts inside the 30-yard line, and I mean it was a winnable division. Now the Cowboys couldn't win that. And the offseason program, they talked about how they didn't make the proper adjustments in dealing with Zooms. McCarthy's given credit to Dan Quinn and what they were doing in Atlanta and utilized some of that to make their offseason program better. But I'm sorry, his whole first year, I gave that a big old flat F. Jerry Jones said, give him a mulligan, but I find Dan Quinn's I find Mike McCarthy's 6-10 season a failure because there was just nothing that went on there that I agreed with. I'm sorry. I gave him an A so far, but believe me, man, the final exam is going to be what he does in the playoffs, and I think we're all in agreement there. This is a team that can't sit up here, have a home game, especially if you got to play Arizona again, and get bounced. That simply can't happen. That would not be acceptable here.
Yeah, that'd be downright. Man, I don't want to say it'd be a complete failure, but that would be bad. If one and done. After all this we've been hearing about the offense being all this and the defense is on its way back and Quinn and Moore, and if we'd have just go in there and then one and done, then let's just say it's to the Eagles. Oh, we ain't gonna hear the end of it.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you why it's a failure. I'll tell you, if you go out there and you get one and done by whoever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bring in Mike McCarthy, go 6-10 the first year, you give him a mulligan. The second year you come in, you give him everything that he said he needed, right? Mm-hmm. You got whatever. You got your tackles, even though they weren't healthy the whole year, but you got the tackles. You've paid a running back $90 million. He's being underutilized. You paid a receiver $100 million. He being underutilized. So you're not even using your tools offensively because you're the offensive coach to the maximum potential that they can have, right? And then you go out there, you get bounced out in the first round because of it. Come on, man, that's a failure.
Is any of it going more though? Any of it going?
Hey man, the same props that we gave Mike McCarthy for getting his team to 11 wins will be the same detriment if he loses in the first round of the playoffs. We would have to knock him the same way that we gave him those props because he is the head guy. All right, and I still have my stuff to say about Kellen Moore if he decides not to run the ball.
9 attempts.
So, Professor Danny, right now, going into the final game, you've given Mike McCarthy a B.
A B.
So if we get to the exam, the major exam of the playoffs, and he doesn't perform and they go out, is your grade going down?
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. The way I'm looking at it is, I'm giving him a grade on the season, and his grade on the season is a B.
It's a B for the season.
Because what we said was we were trying to figure out how many games they were going to win during the regular season. We said 11. I'm going to give him a B for that. It wasn't as pretty as I thought he was going to be. His performance in the playoffs are separate. That might be another exam. So this might be the first exam, the season. The second exam is the playoffs, and I'm going to average the two. You get knocked out in the first round, you got an F, all right? And so all of a sudden your B got knocked down to a C-, and you'll be coming in and getting some extra studying and begging the professor to pass you and give you your degree.
Hey, it's just like where I was at from the beginning. What I call it a C, all right? Because look, man, my man was not instrumental on the turnaround of this defense, all right? It was Dan Quinn, and I think we all know that, all right? My man was probably on the offensive side of the football the entire training camp. Dan Quinn had his hat on backwards, was out there doing them 100-yard walks, knew he saw him with Micah Parsons, just chopping it up, thinking, how are we going to make you the best player possible? And he did that. He did that, and it was not because of Mike McCarthy. What Mike McCarthy did was he hired him. He hired him to come in. So I'll give you
credit. We're not sure.
Yeah, we don't even know if that's the case.
We're not sure.
I'm going to go ahead and give him props for bringing in DQ.
No, give me props.
Give you props for getting in.
Give me props.
But he had nothing to do with the defense. And offensively, all the beginning of the season, all we was talking about was boy genius, Kellen Moore, and his creativity and how he's making this offense one of the best offenses around the league. There was no, McCarthy had anything to do with this. It was all Kellen Moore. We was praising Kellen Moore. So I got to get a man to see. He did a good job of managing the team, switching the culture a little bit, and making sure that, hey, we're focusing on the task at hand type deal. He did a good job of doing that, so I'll give him a C. But
Mojo
the other
moments,
parts,
baby.
the other parts, man, I got to give the credit where credit's due.
We'll talk about this later. We got to talk about it, running the ball. I need to go down the list of good teams in the league.
So for you, Church, if it's a one and done in the playoffs, does the C change, or are you going to keep it there?
I'm gonna keep it there. Because see, to me, I didn't think we had I know we're playing well, but I'm the one that believes that we've been feasting on terrible teams. So I don't have this expectation of us making it long in the playoffs. I'm gonna be honest. I think we're gonna be if we come across an Arizona or an LA, even the 49ers in that first round, I think we're gonna be one and done. But so to me, my letter grade is not going to change. I'm just like, hey, man, had a solid season, got to the playoffs. Dan Quinn turned the defense around. But, hey, see, it's solid.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If you don't make it this year, you ain't going to make it. I'm going to just tell you. If you can't make a deep playoff run this year, you're not going to this is probably the best that the defense is going to play, right? Because like I know, next year after that, you're not going to have the same team.
No.
You're not going to have the same collective group of guys. You might not even have Randy Gregory. You know what I'm saying? So this is your chance.
You might not have your coordinators.
You might not have a coordinator. This is your chance right now to make that run. And if you can't make it with the squad that you have right now, Zeke is all of a sudden looking healthier than he was. You got Tony Pollard with the Thunder and Lightning. You got Dak, who you paid for. He's healthy this year. You got Amari Cooper, you got CeeDee Lamb. You have enough. You got Tyron Smith going to be healthy. You got Leo Collins. You got Zach Martin. You have enough. You do not have a reason or excuse to say that another team has more talent than you and has more potential than you going into any game.
You know what they're going to do, man?
What?
We had to face two teams out there. The Cardinals and the refs. You know what's coming.
Yeah,
you know what's coming.
Then you're going to be facing three because the media is going to be running down your neck. It's gonna be three teams. I don't want to hear nothing about that. If you don't get messed over like the Saints got messed over, then I don't want to hear nothing about no referees. Right. It has to be as blatant as that, bro. If you are not the New Orleans Saints and how they got messed over, that is when I'm looking at it and I'm saying that is absolute garbage.
Yeah, well, the Saints got me. They definitely got screwed.
They should have got 60 calls from New York. Like, hey, y'all stop the game
now.
They should have cut the lights off like the Super Bowl with the 49ers and the Ravens. Should have just pull the switch. Say we can't run another play until we get this right. But other than that, I don't want to hear nothing about it.
All right. I'm with you on that one.
All right, let's take our first break. Danny wants to talk about the run game. Let's dive into that here on the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com. Danny McCray, Barry Church, they are the former players. I'm merely Newey Scruggs. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
At Smoothie King, we are blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses only whole fruits and organic veggies. You'll never find sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of our blends. Smoothie King is proud to be the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Place your order in the app or online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. Or was it, they go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs could stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Not available in every state, based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Hey, get the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate Cowboys fan. Join Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, starting at just $20. Join now and get your fan pack, exclusive benefits, and more. Visit DallasCowboys.com/United for details to join today. I'm Newey Scruggs. This is Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com. The former players are Barry Church and Danny McCray.
Yes, indeed.
Church, is Danny gonna act like that Texas Bowl didn't get played last night?
Man,
and
I'm not. I wasn't gonna say
Kansas
that.
State won 42-20.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
I'm gonna straight up tell you like this. Listen. This is how you know I hadn't been paying attention to my school. I did not know how many guys that were like, we ain't playing in this game. They couldn't start Nussmeier because they didn't want to mess up his redshirt year. We looked like the Denver Broncos 2 years ago.
When they had the receiver playing
QB. Like it was. And I turned on the TV and I'm like, I didn't even think about how I was thinking about the game. And I see Brian Kelly upstairs like doing with the commentators. I'm like, oh, he ain't even coaching. Like we don't have a quarterback. You know, like we don't have a defense. Like our Corey Raymond, our defensive back coach is in Florida. You know, we don't have anybody. Like they are in the process of literally redoing the whole organization. They done let go all the recruiting people. Like everything is gone, and then you got the receiver out there playing quarterback. And I was like, man, and I bet some people on that day too, man.
Why'd they even make that team line up, man? They down all these players. They ain't got no coach.
I mean, what you supposed to do about the seniors though? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some of those kids' last game, and some of those kids they might be sophomores or whatever, and they're trying to put that film on tape for Brian Kelly when he comes in, because none of those are his guys,
That's
right?
true.
So you still got to go out there and prove you could play, but way underhanded. Shout out to Kansas State; they were out there celebrating and stuff. And I'm looking at the game, I'm like, all right, y'all winning. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about it. We got thumped, but I've never seen us have to put out those type of walk-ons and freshmen and quarterbacks as receivers out there. It was just a bad thing. But they had heart. They went out there and played. They went out there and gave everything they got. But put Kansas State on our schedule during the real season. Yeah, and we'll see what happens.
Real quick for both of y'all. I want to ask both of y'all. I know this is way off target, way off subject, but what do y'all think about these new NCAA rules as far as, cats going into the portal, being able to go anywhere they want to and play in that same year? What y'all feel about that?
I love it because, like you said, the coaches are able to do that. If you tell the coaches that they have to stay out and play their contract, then you're able to, in my mind, to tell the players that they should have to do the same thing. Okay. But when you have these coaches sneaking out in private jets in the middle of the night after the first year, second year of their contract, and they promise these dudes sitting in these dudes' living rooms with their parents and say, hey, I'm going to take care of your son and make sure that he becomes a man and get him through and get his degree. And then 6 months later, you're like, I'm out of here, deuces. Nah, the players should be able to do the same thing. So give them the freedom to do that, especially if their head coach or one of the coaches who recruited them is getting out of there. Because that connection, like, when a guy comes to recruit you and you put that faith in him, like, y'all related at that point.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, that's big bro right there. That's big bro. What about you, Noe? What you feeling about these transfer portals and everything?
Everything Danny said is 100% true. And one of the things that people keep forgetting is, hey, man, they can pull your scholarship whenever they want to. And if you look at Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney, just look at the quarterback. So many people just overlook how many 5-star quarterbacks they've had and how many of these guys end up leaving. They're out here all the time looking to replace you. So why are we mad when kids sit up here and say, I want to go find something that's better for me? A lot of times what these coaches don't like, because I've talked to some of them, they don't like the fact that they basically have to keep on recruiting you. That once I got Barry Church here, I got to make Barry Church feel else. Or maybe, a school that he wanted to play for before that didn't like him, they got tape now that he said, see, I can play for you. And I just think these coaches don't like it. I heard from someone about the quarterback over at Oklahoma, Williams, who's leaving. Yeah. And this is what this particular person said to me. You know what? Probably want to get more money, because he did say I could go back to Oklahoma. And their thought is like, man, they want some more money. And they, go to the NIL, go get a bunch of cash. So here it is. You beat up the players. But what did the coaches do? What did Lincoln Riley go do? Left for more money. I mean, it's amazing to me on how, you beat up these kids all. Just get a pass. And I'm with Danny 100% on this. Now, obviously, there's a lot of kids in the portal, man. There's a bunch of kids that's not going to get got. Yeah. There's a bunch of kids who are overrating their talent. That you tell me in any walk of life, how many times do we see guys declare for the NBA draft and they don't make it, or guys that declare for the NFL draft and they're not there? So going into the portal and not getting got, that's a part of it. I have no issues with that at all. And when Dabo Swinney lied about we don't even care about education no more, Dabo, when we cared about education for these people?
Dabo mad, Dabo mad because he ain't on top no more.
Listen, and was it Kirk and Darren?
You talking about Desmond Howard and Kirk Herbstreit
out there tripping.
Well,
Let me tell you something. If I'm about to be a first round pick, you think I'm playing in the Texas Tax Act Bowl, whatever the LSU was playing? Why? Why would I do that? And then because. What have you seen them come and speak out when one of those guys gets hurt in the game?
Jalen Smith.
Like, do you? I don't hear him saying nothing. Then
I hope he gets better.
Nah, give me that 10, 15 million that I'm gonna miss out on because I'm listening to you say, "Hey man, I don't love the game, so I'm gonna go out here and prove that to you." Because if he thinks that doesn't have the effect on some of those players when they trying to make that decision of like what are people going to think about me? The people that are in the media, what are they gonna say about me? If they think that don't have an effect on that decision that those kids are making, they are fooling themselves.
I mean, just look at Jalen Smith. I mean, that dude was probably a bona fide top 10 pick. Has that terrible injury.
Top 5 pick.
Top 5 pick. Has that terrible injury. He lost millions because of it. Now, he was able to come back and, get a nice deal and make a lot of that money back, but he missed out on millions because he played in a bowl game that wasn't even in the college football playoff. I think it was like the Fiesta Bowl or something. They did the whole thing, played in it, and boom. He dropped all the way to the second round.
Then they paid him, and then he gave away $500 to get number 9 for 6 weeks. Goodness. I'm glad he got the money, man. I'm glad. Shout out to Jerry because Jerry is known for taking a chance on guys who come into the draft with injuries. Now you wasn't injured when you came in, but you think about Sean Lee, Bruce Carter, and then Jalen Smith, guys who had injury-filled histories, and then he still gave them a shot. And literally, all three of them made money.
They did. All
here.
Three of them did.
Well, actually, Bruce didn't. Bruce made money in Tampa, but 2 of those guys got paid here by Jerry.
Yeah. And real quick before we get off, I know I got us way off the subject, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate just a little bit. Now, with this new transfer portal, do y'all think there's, there'll be a lack of accountability? Like if a kid goes to somewhere and he's like, "Oh, I'm not starting. I'm not getting, I'm not trying to work to get to that next spot. So I'm gonna just transfer and get up out of here." And then he goes to that next spot and he's like, "Oh, I'm not working here either. I'm just gonna keep transferring." Do you think that has something to do with accountability? And when those guys get to the league, if they do get to the league, it ain't gonna be like, "Oh, you're here and you're not starting, so I'm just gonna leave." Ain't nobody gonna pick you up after that.
Well, somebody gotta want you. So it don't matter. So you can try to transfer all you want to. Be like, "Hey man, I'm coming over to Miami." The coach like, "Man, new number. Who this?"
Like the kid from Southlake. You went to Ohio State early. Oh, it ain't working out here. So now he's down in Texas. I just wonder if it's going to have anything to do with accountability with these young kids.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. Joe Burrow, is a guy who had to get into the transfer from Ohio State to come to LSU, and it worked out for him. Yeah. So when kids are looking at these stories, they say, all I have to do is find that spot who's going to give me
you a chance.
Give me that shot. Okay. If you just so happen to transfer to a place where the dude is more talented than you, and you realize you're going to sit there for 4 years and not get no play time, I'm trying to transfer again too. Like this is my future that we talking about, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do what's best for you in that situation. So some of it may be accountability, but some of it may be you really get in there and you realize that, hey, I don't have a shot.
You ain't got no chance.
There's always going to be somebody better than you, no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
This is what I find very interesting. We beat up athletes for this, but we see people do this in every walk of life. Okay?
Very true.
Switching jobs here, going there. I mean, we see that happen all the time. And then in the sport of college football, you tell me who's not moving around trying to improve their lot or find something that works better for them than an assistant coach. Okay? These assistant coaches always hopping around here looking for the bigger and better deal, looking for a better position, looking for this and that. I mean, but we don't beat them up.
Yeah.
It's this thing where you want to keep beating up the kid. And that's one of my big issues and problems with it, especially with Kirk Herbstreit and Desmond Howard jumped out there talking about these kids don't love football. And when did it get to the point that if it's not a playoff game, it doesn't matter? These are 2 guys every Tuesday spent over 90 minutes on TV with a whole show geared about the playoff. So how in the world do you think everybody decided that the playoff is the only thing that matters? They weren't talking about, hey, let's talk about this the Tax Slayer Bowl or the Texas Bowl. They were talking about who qualifying for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you didn't told me that if I ain't in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. So why should I go out here and get hurt for nothing? I mean, I see Kirk Herbstreit write Jalen Smith no check I ain't see Desmond Howard starting no GoFund for Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
Or Jake Butt when those guys got hurt. I mean, it's just very interesting how these guys profit off of these kids, then go ahead slap them. Then when you put Lincoln Riley on the set, you don't beat Lincoln Riley up at all. He went to the Rose Bowl and nobody got on him and said, you don't love football. You didn't love those kids. You didn't do Oklahoma right. You never do that to those guys, man. But you beat up on these kids. And who are we talking about when they beat up on these kids all the time? Who the majority of these kids that play college football? We know what's going on here. You're sitting around here and you're beating up the black kids, trying to make it seem like they ingrates, that they don't like football, and they just here for the money. And we're only really talking about a very small percentage of guys. I mean, think about the guys you play with in Toledo, Barry, the guys you play with LSU. How many people were really transferring? It's always a small number, but people beat up the kids that do.
First of all, who cares if these dudes in it for the money? I'm confused. Yeah. I'm confused on why that matters. If I'm a great football player and I like football, but I don't love it, but I know that I can make some money because I'm that damn good, who cares? I have to love the game. I'm going to get in here and do what I want to do. Andrew Luck was smart enough to say, hey, man, I don't love the game like that no more, man. I got better stuff to do.
If you think about it, like, look, how many people, we've been in locker rooms, how many cats is in there like, man, if I wasn't getting paid this, man, I would not be up in this day.
What are you talking about?
Man, it's just millions of, myself included. If I was not good at football, I would not be playing this much. Like, I mean, if it was for free, like if it was just like, oh, you went out there and you made, $20,000 a year playing football, man, you would not see a soul out there.
No, man. No, but it's certain guys. Sean Lee, some of those guys who like they live and they breathe Tom Brady's, football, right? But it's not that common in the league where the entire team actually loves it to where this is my entire life. People got other stuff they want to do. Like you see them on commercials and investing in other stuff because they have other things that they want to do. But football is their avenue to be able to do those
to maximize other potential. Look at we talk about him all the time. Jalen Smith, we talk about him all the time. But the guy was able to maximize his opportunity off the field. Like y'all, he was all over the place. I will give him credit on that one.
Because Danny, what you're talking about is a perception of what they tried to sell you what college football is. It's for your school. It's because you love it. It's amateur. Right? And when the moment you feel like somebody's not allowing you to sell this bullseye dream, you want to smack them down. I mean, we talk about college athletics, but now they selling hard liquor left and right, man. 5 beers at the game. I mean, they don't care about student athletes. You about making cash. As long as the people on top are making the cash, it's fine. Once the production, the people who produce everything, once the field hands decide they want some of the check, now we got a problem with it. Mm-hmm. Now it's about you're greedy. Now it's about you don't love the game. Now it's you don't want your education here. And that's always been this case where you let the people on top be on top and the people on the bottom stay there. And the moment they come up, you smack them back down.
I'm gonna tell you straight like this. The realest thing I ever seen was Patrick Peterson came in there his freshman year. And the dudes and the coach was like, hey, bro, you got to go to class. He was like, well, I got to go to class. I'll be out here in 3 years. What are you talking about? I'm not trying to graduate from this place.
Hey, he was
and what'd he do?
He's right. First round.
3 years later, he was up out of there. Yeah. He ain't look back. Okay, his avenue to be able to do whatever he wants to do moving forward because he knew football was that thing for him. All right. Now, I'm not saying he don't love the game, but that's when you go to college and you know that this is what you have to do in order to be successful. And he did it. So shout out to him. Shout out for taking advantage because Pat P got some bread now. He believes in himself.
Let's talk about the run game. So let's dive into that. This is the Players Lounge brought to you by Hotels.com on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. Or was it, they go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs could stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Not available in every state based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com. proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
At Smoothie King, we are blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses only whole fruits and organic veggies. You'll never find sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of our blends. Smoothie King is proud to be the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Place your order in the app or online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching Grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Your favorite WWE superstars return to AT&T Stadium for WrestleMania on Saturday, April 2nd, Sunday, April 3rd, 2022. Get your tickets to the most stupendous two-night WrestleMania in history. Visit SeatGeek.com, and that is your official ticketing provider for AT&T Stadium. Danny, you got things to talk about with the run game here, so I want to make sure you get an opportunity to get that on out.
Oh, listen, it's pretty straightforward, okay? The good teams that are going into the playoffs and they feel confident have a running game. Also, teams that were good and they started to struggle, what did they find? They found a running game. For your examples, okay? Tampa Bay. For all the weapons that Tom Brady has, playoff Lenny is the guy, right? Yep. Playoff Lenny, guy who can run the ball, he can catch the ball out of the backfield, right? Mm-hmm. And you still had, at that point, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski. But the focus point of it was, hey, man, Leonard Fournette is taking them, right? Mm-hmm. As good as Aaron Rodgers is playing, he has Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, right? Mm-hmm. When you need something to lean on, they're able to lean on the run game. The Rams, all right? Matthew Stafford gets out there. He starts throwing picks all over the place. What happened? The reemergence of Sony Michel, all right? Now they found a way to run the ball. Yep. Kirk Cousins and them, not that good of a team, but even though they have these weapons on the outside of Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, who is it that you're trying to stop? Cook. Dalvin Cook. Mm-hmm. We can continue to run down the list with these teams who are able to utilize the running game and their running backs. How come we are not able to do the same thing, right? When you going into the playoffs, you have to be able to lean on that because defense, running games travel, right? If we don't find a way to get our running game on track, we are going to be in for a short stint in the playoffs, and that is just a fact. You cannot do it without a running game because when the team is able to shut down your passing game, the only thing that can open that back up is the running game because now they got to drop another guy in the box to put 8 in the box to create those one-on-ones. When you're able to drop more guys in coverage and continue to drop 8, drop whatever, you can't throw into those windows, all right? So we need to find a way to get this running game fixed. I've been saying it since week 1, but now we're in week 18, and we still have not found it. Zeke is out here in the 18th week talking about I need to get 1,000 yards rushing. 18 weeks, all right? 18 weeks, we ain't got 1,000. Like, I don't, that doesn't make sense. That's somewhere like 50 to 60 yards a game. We haven't gotten it, all right? And it's not all his fault. Like, you have just not put the emphasis on being able to run the football. Yeah. Help me, Kellen, please. Help me. Help us get deep into the playoffs by running the football, please.
You got to get back to it. And it's not even like, if he goes out there and he doesn't even have to, tear the whole place down. He ain't got to run for 150, 200 yards. They don't got to even do that. But just keeping the defense honest by saying, all right, they might not pass every down. They'll turn around and hand it off every now and then. It loosens things up for your offense. Just look what Arizona did. They didn't kill us on the run. If you take away Kyler Murray's scrambles, I think they rushed the ball for maybe 60 total yards between all the running backs. But what they did was they kept us honest because they didn't give up on it. They said, all right, we're going to make an emphasis. Even though y'all shutting us down, we're only getting 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're going to keep you honest and hand this ball off every 1 to 3 play or every couple plays just so your defensive ends can't pin their ears back and get after us like we've seen in the past. So I think that's what this team got to do. Even though, Pollard and Zeke may be a little banged up and they might not be able to give you the 200 yards rushing like they did earlier in the season, just turning around and giving them the attempts. They only had 9 attempts the whole time last game and 2 in the second half. And it's not like it was a blowout game like Arizona was up by 30-some points. It was up a couple touchdowns. They still had enough time to turn around and hand the football off, keep that defense honest, but we didn't. We relied on, the throwing of Dak Prescott. And, towards the end of that game, he came on a little bit, but it was too little too late. And I felt like if we were able to keep that running game at least in the thoughts of Arizona's defense, that we'd have had much more success offensively.
And let me tag this on again. Don't forget about Najee Harris up there. Big Ben can't throw the ball. What you do? You hand the ball to Najee Harris, okay? What happens when you Kansas City and they trying to find a way to get back on? You start playing good defense, and then your running game starts showing up. Like, this is across the board. I feel like we are the only team who can't figure out a way to get out of a slump by saying, hey, we need to, if our defense is going to play this well, we should help them out by keeping them off the field as much as they've been on there and running the ball, all right? Find a way to open up other stuff, man, because you can get Amari Cooper the ball that way. Joe Mixon, you look at that guy. As good as Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are playing, Joe Mixon is a Pro Bowl running back, right? All these teams are able to do that, and these are the teams that we're looking at as like top 5 teams. And for some reason, we just can't get a handle on it. But Mike McCarthy believes we should be running the ball. So let's figure out how to get that done in Week 18 and hopefully throughout the playoffs.
Kellen Moore ain't with that. He ain't with that.
And I go into the flip side of what you talked about in that Pittsburgh-Cleveland game of how ineffective Cleveland was once they stopped giving Nick Chubb the football. I mean, Nick Chubb was out there chewing up yards, and they were just shaking their head about what Kevin Stefanski is doing. Like, this is your best football player. Why aren't you using him? So McCarthy today at his press conference was once again on board, like, yeah, run the ball. So this, listen to McCarthy, I almost feel like this is a Kellen Moore, Dak Prescott deal, where they've got to make a more conscious effort about trying to run the football and get more attempts. And McCarthy talked about more attempts. So you simply can't do it the way they did it yesterday on Sunday when you had Ezekiel Elliott with only 2 carries in the second half running the football and Tony Pollard had none. That's just inexcusable football.
All right.
Well, run the ball. You heard it here first. Run the damn ball, and we're going to get where we need to be.
All right. And probably will not play against the Philadelphia Eagles on Saturday. For Barry Church, Danny McCray, I'm Newey Scruggs. This is Players Lounge, and we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!